All right, gang. Welcome back to what is now the number one chiropractic podcast, Wake Up Humans, with my man Drew Henderson. How are you, brother?
I'm doing near perfect, man. It's a great Monday. It always is, but this
Amen,
Monday
my
was
brother.
special. It's getting hot. Summer's here, brother.
We just got a report from Michelle about whatever statistics and things she gets, from the whole podcast world thing. And we're like the top chiropractic health and wellness, whatever you want to call it, podcast in the world right now, bro.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Weekend, I told you we were eating, and guy was leaving. Whole group of people behind us. He's like, "Oh, you're a local celebrity, Murrayville. Wake up, humans." We're like,
That's right.
"Dang straight. That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right." And more people watch this than we ever know. Like even people would say celebrities are. So I'm thankful for that. I'm not going to name names yet. We got to get you scheduled on this podcast, but we
Yep.
appreciate you listening.
It's awesome. And listen, I don't know the numbers. I'm not interested in the numbers, but yet I absolutely am interested because we have one mission, and that's to spread this word, and I'll see it every month. Someone will jump on, one of my feeds or whatever and just start, the Cairo attack. You're not a real doctor. You're not this. And a lot of times it's from other chiropractors, bro, which that's the irony. I just had a guy that was trying to brag about he hasn't adjusted an atlas in 6 years and people are getting better. I'm like, well, you're a loser. Like, what did I didn't say loser? I said, you're a joke. Like, I have no time for this. And, this morning I did a video. I was working out. I'm like, God, I also called him a clown because he keeps reaching out. He keeps commenting. And I'm like, bro, get a life. Like, I don't go to your house and tell you what to do or knock your shit. And he's on my feed. I'm like, you want to throw jabs? I'm going to throw rights and lefts. Like, I'm done dealing with people's bullshit. Chiropractic, the level of care and love we give people, like it or not, people are going to dislike it, but it's like, who cares? There's plenty of people that love it that's transforming their life. So we ain't stopped.
Yeah, and we all have, and a lot of these other chiropractors listening, a lot of people at DE, we have people driving hours and hours one way to
Yeah.
come get adjusted. And it's not
Yeah.
because we're so good, it's because we deliver the goods.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we stick to the truth, we clear people
Right.
out, we send them on their way.
That's right. We had a woman
And
just
these
start up
people
with us. So they
yeah,
do come
and
far.
and these people always chirping, they're not busy because they're on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy, he's like, oh, you're a keyboard warrior. I had a couple of responses and I'm just like, you know what, bro, I'll pray for you. I'm surely no keyboard warrior.
Yeah, they just,
I'm,
just
I'm
low
easy. I'm easy
self-esteem,
to
man.
find, but we're grown men. You're a damn doctor. Like, go somewhere else. But we ain't stopping. And that was one of the things I kept thinking because I'll say to myself, why am I pissed off at this guy? I'm like, you're making fun of the Atlas? Are you freaking kidding me? People with subluxated Atlas are losing their expression of life, period. And the world needs to know that message.
They do. They do, and when you're subluxated, life is getting choked off to the rest of the body.
That's right.
When you get
That's right.
adjusted, life, health, vitality come back throughout the body. That's just it,
End of story. That's it.
you know?
So you think about chiropractic over, well, 1895,
Mhm.
over 130 years, right? Why hasn't the world grasped that message, particularly the power of the Atlas and what it entails? What has our profession missed?
I think a lot of it is just they gloss over those 33 principles. They gloss over the truth that you remove the interference to the nervous system and health comes back. It's more about let's get you on this machine. We got the DRX 49,000. We're going to put you on here. We're going to do that. Call me when you need. But that's not how chiropractic. That's not how real life is.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
Talking to a patient today about how we're in a disposable culture. Like people use paper plates and just throw them away. I told her, I'm like, people just use people and throw them away. It's just disposable,
Yeah.
just disposable, man. And I think that's one thing that has held chiropractic back over the decades.
So they're making the people disposable in spite of what? Like, why have people become in this healthcare realm? In a kid goes to school to learn a science, to become a doctor, to learn a healing art. And all of a sudden, the people become disposable. Where's that shift happening? Why is that happening?
I mean, I think it's probably just a lack of self-esteem from a lot of chiropractors that want to feel like they're more of a different kind of doctor, where there's an MD or DO, and then they just everybody's a number, man.
Yeah,
Everybody's a number. If I get a new patient, I can count on X amount of money if I do this program on them and I sell them on that. We don't sell any programs, you don't either. We sell them on life, on the
yeah,
potential that they have,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
It's no comparison, a medical doctor versus a chiropractor.
Mm,
Two totally different worlds.
yep.
And to be like a surgeon or working in an ER, I give any chiropractor who wants to mock the medical profession, just go stand in the ER in those emergency rooms and watch what they're dealing with day in and day out. And then go back to your office and try to compare that. You can't compare it, man. No, like, why would you?
It's not the same. It's
It's
not the
not the
same,
same. And it was never
and
designed to be the same.
no, no, and I thank the Lord every day for like MDs and surgeons and DOs that are doing things for people when they have that in tissue phenomenon that there's a limitations of matter that if you don't do this, you're gonna die. A friend of ours, dad, like he's having some heart stuff going on. If they don't intervene, he would have been dead already.
That's right. That's
So
right.
thankful they could intervene and keep him here.
How many people do we know that we thought were perfectly healthy? And then, I'm standing on the soccer field with my daughter and I get a phone call, so and so just died.
Mhm,
And you're like, what was that limitation of matter? What was going on inside of there? And then you kind of learn they were having a lot of signs and symptoms that they ignored because they didn't want to put themselves in the medical realm. I'm not going to those people. And they died young. I had a discussion with someone today and they asked me if I believe in medical doctors. I said, at lunchtime, I have a call with one of my doctors to review my blood work. I said, blood
mhm,
work? What's wrong with you? I said, nothing. I want to keep it that way. And they said, well, why do you get blood? I said, I get blood work every 3 to 4 months. I'm getting blood work just to check things. I mean, there's past history and things that, happen and I tell doctors this, man, I don't care. And when I was younger, I woke up one day and just something didn't feel right and ended up at a medical doctor. And it was like my whole world changed quick. And we're all heading for that moment one way or the other. So you wanna be healthy. And I'm always like, I could talk about innate intelligence all day, but how's your body? What are you giving to it to adapt? And when I get blood work back and I'm on the call with her today, and she's like, dude, 99% everything's perfect. Like you're good. That makes
mhm,
that makes you feel pretty damn good. And then I'm taking creatine and I'm eating really well and I've been working out a lot. And there was like two things that showed up. And she said, because you're doing that, she said the blood work was early in the morning. You're probably a little dehydrated. So we'll see our next test around and you're fine. And I'm like, that felt pretty awesome, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, and, like, I do my blood work every 6, 8 months, 9, just whenever, just 'cause I like to see a trend, and the first time I did blood work, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was nervous. I'm like, "I don't know what's this gonna be." The only thing that could have been better, he said my ratio to my LDL and HDL could be just a little bit, like, 2% better, and he said, "There's that much variable in the test,
Right.
like, you're great." And I'm like, "Huh."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I ride my Peloton a good bit, and I guess I just make a lot of red blood cells, so I'll go every now and then and just get some red blood cells drawn off. I just function better when I have a little bit less red blood cells.
When I was doing the Peloton, there was a prime time there where I was doing it every night, hard.
Mhm,
And I got some blood work back and my PSA was a little up, which I never had. And she said, do you ride a bike? She says, do you have sex? I'm like, a lot. Do you ride a bike? A lot. She said, all right, next time we take the test, like, don't ride the bike for a couple days before.
mhm,
Perfect numbers.
yep,
Perfect. But it also makes you think how fragile these tests are. How many people who maybe their doctor's not diligent and not asking questions and not saying, and all of a sudden starting to diagnose without realizing how fragile these things are. And I think that's what people need to realize. It doesn't take much to change those numbers. Like your body is really sensitive.
man, it is, and it's, just little things like 2 or 3 days before can change it all, you know? And if I'm gonna be sitting on a plane for a while, I make sure my, hematocrit's like 13, 14, you know, 15 maybe. But if I ride a bike a lot and don't hydrate, it'll be up 18, 19. That's a little thick for me.
Oh, and they're going to tell you high risk for stroke and cardiovascular incident because your blood's getting thick. Where, listen, if it's thick, then what do? You do? Drink more water, you dial it back, you go get blood. It helps your body adapt better. But at the end of the day, it's all about adapting. Like, what am I giving the innate intelligence of my body to work with? And, you could sit here and argue you should be a vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, whatever. I really think everybody's different, and you don't know until you see how your body adapts. I know for me personally, if I go and have some alcohol a day or two before the test, my triglycerides will go up.
Mhm.
Take the test 4 days later with none, they go down. The doctor told me within 3 days, you'll reset your triglyceride count. I'm like, so if you got people that are booze bags and they're taking this test, now they're putting them on drugs for their triglycerides and cholesterol and all that stuff. Now they're changing the entire chemistry of the body where they just have to be careful what they're putting in their body and when they put it in their body.
Yeah, and just those little things over time matter, and like you said, everybody's different. We have to test and learn, test and learn. Like, if I do this, what will that number do?
It's
If I
compounding
do
interest,
that,
right?
yeah, like, what will happen when I do this? I'm like, "Huh,
Yeah.
that's wild. That's
It's
wild."
compounding interest. You do it over, like, I know for me, I don't like to drink beer at all. I haven't done it in years. I will as an occasion. Like I was with Eddie Martinez this weekend. We had a Guinness at an Irish pub when we were away for the Morgan Wallen concert. So I'm not going to lie and say I don't. But if I have a little too much, guess what? I feel it in my freaking feet the next morning. And I'm like, I could either ignore that or realize that's my body telling me something.
Yeah, and, we are given wisdom and discernment to know what's good for us and what's not good for us. Like,
Hmm.
we know.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just need to surrender to that and be like, this year I'm gonna do better.
Right.
I'm gonna do better. But then
You know,
what happens, like, when somebody gets some blood work done and it's not so good? Like, what's your next step? You gonna freak out? Like,
Well,
what is it?
I think what a lot of people will do is they'll keep living the way they're living and then take drugs to try to push that number down.
Mhm.
And I think it's more logical to say, well, why am I adapting that way? What's driving that up? What am I doing? What am I responsible for? And what can I change? I did a day two with a gentleman today, and he's, 71 years old. He's had multiple joint replacements, and he's been a hard worker his whole life. And I'm like, you're going to have pain and discomfort the rest of your life, but we're going to push for more better days and for your body to adapt, be able to function as you age over the next 35 years, than shutting down. He said, well, that's what I want. I said, we can't fix that past. We can't reverse this arthritis and four compression fracture. Like that's there forever, but we want to give you a higher quality of life. Like your 100% is gone. You now have a new 100% that we're shooting for. And he said, Doc, that makes perfect sense. Like that's what I want. I said, amen.
Yeah. Yeah, and every bit of it counts. It all counts, every bit of it. And, and we've all had patients like this. I had somebody the other day, they list their drugs they're taking, and I'm like, "So, you're on this high blood pressure medicine. Is that pretty good, pretty well controlled? Like, he like, "Well, yeah, I don't have high blood pressure." Like, "Why you taking that?" "Oh, no, I don't have it. That's why I take it. I don't I'm taking that medicine, so I don't have it." Now, brother, listen, you got high blood pressure. You're just taking medicine
Right.
that drives it
Right.
down,
Huh.
you know? And we go over that, people's like, "Well, why are you talking about that stuff with them?" But because, like, there's a, 2007 study in the Journal of Human Hypertension where when you're only getting the atlas adjusted, asymptomatic care, they come in with no symptoms, but they have high blood pressure. They get their atlas adjusted, their, top number goes down about 26 points, their bottom number goes down about 17 points. So now if they're taking drugs that are lowering their blood pressure artificially, and they started to get cleared out, and their body starts regulating, modulating their blood pressure right. Well, shoot, they could have low blood pressure, and then that's a whole nother thing. So we just let them know, just be aware, like keep a check on it because your body's going to get back to baseline normal.
Yeah. I think living in awareness is the key. Like you said, be aware. Like people know, they know what's right, what's wrong. If they're doing something that's probably not the best for them, be aware. Like live consciously. The more you live consciously, the better it is to live subconsciously and be more at peace,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
because that's going
yeah,
to be sustainable
yeah, we
over time.
know no, no, we know when we're eating something we shouldn't, we know when we're doing something we shouldn't.
That's right.
We just know,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah.
It's and just be aware, it don't take much. Like, we stand up most of the day, so I'll just moseying around tables, lap after lap after lap around adjusting tables, waiting on somebody to come over. I just stand there and do, like, 10 or 15 heel raises just to move some blood back up from my calves, just to get it out of my legs, Little
I remember
things add up over
years
time.
I remember years ago, it was a Monday at the practice. I had a young girl, Cairo school student visiting, flew in on the weekend, stayed with the family. She wanted to get the whole feel of what it was like. And I was practicing by myself then.
Mhm.
And we had a slamming morning. Went back to the house. Tammy made some food. I stood there at the counter and ate. And she's like, "Aren't you going to sit down?" I'm like, "No." She said, "Aren't you tired?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "My feet are killing me." Go back to the office, slamming afternoon. I'm talking slamming drill. Where at the point I kind of forgot where she was. I had to keep going. We just between the rooms and on the floor and taking x-rays. We got home that night and her feet were swollen and she was in shape. She wasn't a out of shape person. And the next morning she's like, "Are you off this morning?" I said, "No." She goes, "I can't go in." Like she goes, "I threw up last night before I went to bed." She said, "You realize you didn't sit down yesterday." And I'm like, I don't think about it, but no, like we just keep going. We got people to take care of. We just keep going. And I'll never forget that moment because, it got me thinking, which in the moment you don't think to serve at that level. You don't think.
Yeah, it's, and we have to be more aware of, like, listen, I'm gonna take care of me. I'm gonna go drink me a liter of water before lunch, after I have my coffee when I get to the office, then I'm gonna drink some water, try to. I haven't been lately, and then I'll drink whatever I want to at lunch, and then I try to do another liter before I go to bed.
Right. I
Just
have such a
just basic.
I have such a dialed in morning routine. I'm semi-robotic with it, with just when I'm in that zone. And last Thursday morning, I don't know, Tammy, she's usually up and out doing something, working out, but she wasn't this time. And Sierra goes to work with me. She like cut in front of me. I had the espresso machine ready to go. She undid it, did something, and I was so disheveled because it was like I start with, my first, I do like an amino acid drink after my workout. Then I set
Mhm.
up my electrolyte and creatine drink, and then I have my second cup of coffee. I have the first shot of espresso before I go out and do my workout. Then I come back and I take some of those. You ever try Laird Hamilton's coffee
Mhm.
minerals that he makes, and I mix it
Yep.
and I head to the car and I'm out the door. Well, that last part got like interrupted, and it was like I realized how programmed I am within I'm like, just please, just you gotta step aside and let me get. And Sierra's cracking up, like, wow, because she's getting ready to step into our world of taking care of and serving people, and she's like seeing what goes into it now. It was cute.
Yeah, I'm so excited for her, But you wanna do and anybody listen, y'all wanna do a test about routine? When you put your pants on in the morning, first time you put your pants on that day, like, before you put your first leg in, see which leg it is. Put the opposite leg in first, and then do the other one. Somebody told me to do that. I did that a few years ago, and, like, all morning, it was bothering me. Like, before lunch, I went to the back, took my shoes off, took my pants off, put them back on right, and then I was okay. Cause it
Here's
just messes you up.
Here's a fun one. I had a guy say to me, "Can you put your legs in your pants without holding on to something?"
Hmm,
So
yeah,
say you put your right leg first, then your left one. Can you balance yourself and hold on? He says, a lot of people get over the age of 50, they can't do that anymore.
it's I can. And
And
shoot,
I'm
man,
like,
I'll get my pants up about halfway, and then I'll even do, like, a little jump and pull them all the way up.
and then you see these guys come in and they got, I saw it in Connecticut more so because most guys down here are in like Hey Dudes or flip flops, right? But up in Connecticut, all of a sudden, like certain age group, they all had Velcro shoes. And so one day I asked the pay, like, what's with the Velcro? He goes, "Oh, I can't get down to tie my shoes in." So like 15 years ago, I'm like, I want to be able to tie my shoes when I'm 80 years old, you know? But it's like you notice little things. I notice like to cross my left leg over. It's like harder than the right one, and it's tighter. And it's like, oh, I remember injuring that hip pointer in football when I was like 16 years old, and then all this bullshit that arises when you hit like 50. You know, now I see 30-year-olds coming in and complain. I'm like, dude, 40 is a pivotal time, 50 is a pivotal time, and now I got guys coming that are 80. They're like, wait till you hit 80, and I'm like, I can't wait. Like that's a blessing, man. Keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I read a thing the other day about if you can get down in the floor and get back up without using your hands, there's like a less than whatever chance, or no, if you can't do that, if you can't get in the floor and get back up without using your hands, there's like a 75% chance you're going to die in the next 12 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like craziness because it's just mobility. If you can move our legs, I mean, they're our biggest muscle group. And it went into the whole thing, but the biggest thing, 75% chance you're gonna die in a dozen years. So I'm just like, "Oh, crap, I'm nervous, let me do this," and it was fine.
You got to do,
If I
and you
couldn't, I'm
got
like, "Oh, crap, let me go start calling people."
well, listen, those are little markers that your body's talking to you, that it's saying, "Wake up and pay attention to you. Wake up and pay attention to you." You know, I haven't really been flying much, and after the many years of flying, it was like my neck was getting stiff, and I'm like, "I can't. This sucks." And it wasn't like an adjustment thing. It was like the scalings, everything tight. I'm driving with Kane the other day, and I'm like spinning my head around, looking. I'm like, "Man, my neck is doing so much better."
You're not in
You
a
know?
plane, dude.
Like I messaged Dr. Christie. I said, dude, you're doing a great job. I'm like, all of a sudden, like it just hit me. Like I looked around and I'm like, when I was doing that flying every week, like my body was like, I could tell the way it was responding, like this bad, all this stuff. Like, come on.
Yeah, and you're not, I mean, I call you little Steve sometimes, but we know you're not. Like, you're a big boy in, like, a little
Yep.
plane seat. Like, you're just it's hard,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then just the stress of that time in your life was off the scale, dude.
It's funny because people are like, whoa, you should upgrade. You should go first class. I'm like, the plane I was flying every week, there was no first class. You flew in the first four rows where the seat was a little bigger, but it ain't first class. And this plane, because you're flying every week, and it was direct. It was like the only plane that would be direct without me stopping over in Maryland, which I did for years. There was always delays. I'd be sitting in that airport walking around for 3 hours waiting for my connection because there was rain or lightning. So there was no, like so being wedged in those seats for that amount of time, I don't care how much yoga and crap you do, because I did a lot of stretching and stuff, and I probably could have done more. Your body's going to get beat up. I mean, life is going to happen. One of the best things I implemented was fasting from Sunday night or afternoon. I would stop eating around 5, and I wouldn't eat till Tuesday around 1, just for inflammation, just to help my body just chill, you know. But you
Yeah, I
got to
mean
listen
I
to your
mean,
body, I guess, is the biggest, answer here.
yeah, and that fasting, man, I usually do it. I don't every week, but we don't work on Friday. Office is closed. So Thursday night I'll eat, but then I won't eat again usually till late Friday night. Just go a day and it just gives my body a rest. Just gives it a rest. And some of those planes though, if you're next to the window, like the side of the fuselage is coming up next to you.
Oh, bro, nightmare. Your whole
You're
body's
like this.
kinked.
You got to
Yeah.
get the aisle. You got to get the aisle.
Yeah, I didn't have the aisle this weekend, and the person I flew down next to we sat in the same exact seats. This guy sat next to me on the way back, and I kind of kept one eye on him the whole time because I thought this guy was gonna like pull a knife out and stab me. He just was having some issues. It was very darn evident. So
Mhm.
on the way back, I kind of saw him. I'm like, "You're kidding me!" So I thought I'd break the ice a little bit and say, "Hey, weren't you next to me on the?" Yeah, yeah, I was. And then he just held his ears and put his head down. I'm like, "Shit, God." And this fuselage, whatever you called it, was right up on my head. So,
Yeah,
and he
and
was
you
like,
just
had his arm over the seat and like was, make claiming that, and he was a big dude. And I'm like, this is why people have private jets.
only you, dude, only you. But now, a few weeks ago, I was flying back. It was a longer flight, and woman sitting beside me, I was just ready just to chill out and got in my seat, and you know how you do like the thing that you're falling and you'll jump? Well, I was asleep. I was trying not to sleep because like the time difference and didn't want jet lag. And I jumped and I looked and she had her coffee in her hand and she spilled it all over because I scared her. And like, what do you do? I didn't touch her. I just jumped and I shouldn't have. I just closed my eyes and just went back to sleep.
You better pretending you didn't see it.
Like, what do you do? I can't help her.
Listen,
You
man,
know,
my
I have
greatest
no
blessing.
napkins, like, I'm not gonna pat her down like,
Yeah.
"Sorry,
My
girl."
my my greatest blessing was knowing that Monday's here. I got my standing appointment to get checked by my chiropractor, and got done with the shift, and I just laid it on the table. She's like, "Man, that plane really does like affect you," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's why I'm here." Like, imagine this salesman out there, this CEO, whatever these guys, they're out there flying for work, 50, 51 weeks a year, not getting adjusted, taking pills to get through the moment, and they're going to wake up and be 70 and not be able to do the retirement they're dreaming of right now. Like, guys, girls, you got to get that spine checked. And if you're flying like that, I'm telling you, at least twice a week, pre and post flight, making sure that your system's opened up. No doubt.
Yeah, and do that consistently over time, you know, because that plane we know, like, with their phones, we don't sit on we don't put them next to our privates because this EMF stuff coming off of here is not good. Inside a plane is just a Coke can full of EMF. That's all it is. You know, just bombarding with all these different signals that I don't know what all they do to us. I'm not that smart, but it can't be that good.
I remember once my cell phone, when you used to listen back in the day, you would listen to the radio station in the car, and my cell phone was like propped up next to it or something. And the station went all staticky, and then the phone rang. Said, okay, that's interesting. And then it happened again and again. And I said, wow, this cell phone is affecting the communication of that radio station. What is it doing to my body? And listen, I'm no conspiracy theorist and get into any voodoo BS stuff, but I saw a couple video things pop up where guys were talking about, if you have these smartwatches, which you always wonder, like, what is that doing to your body? It's picking up on heart rate, pulse, and it's getting into you. But this guy tested it on a person on their left wrist, and it was affecting their heart, their heart region, by they were doing a bunch of kinesiology. And then they switched it to the right wrist, because I like to wear it when I work, when I exercise, especially my walks, just to kind of monitor it. And
Mhm.
then I've been taking it off after that. Like, I'm wearing it when I work out, and then I dump it. And this is something recent I'm doing, but I started thinking, like, all right, what if this is right? Like, what is it? I have one of those Aura rings. I don't charge it anymore. I worked long enough to see how my heart rate and my nervous system is affected by the stupid things I do.
Mhm.
And then what happens when I'm dialed in, I was able to discover my patterns. And I'm like, I really don't need the reading anymore. Like, I know what's right for me and what's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and in mine, I don't have any Bluetooth stuff on it usually. I just turn that off and I'll wear it, and then I'll not wear it sometimes for a week.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm
Detox,
just not.
detox.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
and I read a thing one day, I don't know if this is true or not, where like when you're talking on the phone for a long time, you know how your cheek will get hot? It's not that your phone is hot. Your phone is giving off, I mean, your phone feels warm. Your phone is giving off whatever that's heating up your skin and face, and then that heat is heating up the phone. That's wild. Now, I don't have any proof of that. I don't understand how that works, but it can't be healthy to have this stuck to your ear for hours a day.
Well, I think what's going to happen over time is some people are going to die young from it. Other people, will get brain tumors and suffer because they're not going to adapt. Other people are going to build endurance and get stronger and produce kids that's built into their body and their DNA over time. The whole strongest survive. But at the end of the day, it's like, why put yourself through it if you don't have to? Like, pick your battles. Like, I no longer wear those Bluetooth earphones, whatever. I got the wired one for when I'm working out or on the beach exercising. Just to realize I know enough just to, what if, like, what if, and I'm not going to start preaching it to the people not to do what to do. But at the end of the day, you know what's right for you. You know what's better. And it's all about giving the body, when it comes back to the chiropractic principles, you want to prevent subluxation and being silly to yourself and giving your body a better chance to adapt, rest, and heal.
Yeah, and going full circle with the principle, Stevenson wrote about destructive survival values that hurt us, and then constructive survival values that help us. We want to minimize destructive survival values, like this stuff next to her ear, Bluetooth stuff in her head all the time. And we want to maximize constructive survival values, like getting adjusted, positive mental like good, healthy things for us. We want to maximize those.
That's right. Maximize your constructive survival values by increasing adaptability to a fully functional nervous system. That's it, my man.
That's it. That's all we do, man. That is all we do. That's all chiropractic is.
Let's close it out there, brother. I think you just
Yep.
dropped the mic, my man.
Awesome. You did. That's it.
Ciao, brother. Love you.
Yeah.
Talk soon.
Love y'all.
Out.